From photoshopped selfies to stealing designer bags from the trash and taking loans from the mafia, some influencers go to extreme lengths to portray a life of luxury when they're really completely broke. So today we're going to dig into the fake side of social media and expose the most glamorous and famous influencers in the world who are actually poor. We all know that social media is a highlight reel, and with enough curation and Photoshop, anyone can present a glamorous lifestyle online. But sometimes every single thing you see on an influencer's social media is completely fake. Back in 2020, a blogger named Li Zhanger became curious about the inner workings of the infamous influencer group chats on the Chinese social media site WeChat. The chats were advertised as places for rich socialite girls with big social media followings to network and discuss luxury goods. So, Li infiltrated one of the groups, discovering that the only requirements were a $75 fee and a bank statement proving he had $15,000 in his savings. He didn't even need to provide a picture showing he was a woman. But once he was in, he was shocked to discover what was really going on. It turns out these girls weren't rich, and they used these group chats to pool the little money they had together in order to appear wealthy and trick their followers. They would rent clothes, bags, and even hotel rooms to share so they could take pictures for social media. In one case, 60 girls split the cost of a Ferrari rental between them, averaging around $14 per person, just to take turns getting pictures. As well as social media clout, this frugal forgery was done to help increase their social status and find a wealthy husband. And this is pretty stingy and incredibly smart, but Li didn't name any of the girls in the group, so they mostly managed to escape the expose with their careers and reputations intact. However, some people were suspected of being part of the ploy based on the images he shared, like this influencer called Lunay, who has 76,000 followers on Instagram. It also made people very suspicious of influencers in China as a whole by showing that as they lounge around in their luxury hotel rooms, there could be 60 girls behind the camera waiting for their turn. I don't know about you, but I'm a loser, and I don't have 60 friends who I can share hotel rooms and Ferraris with. But fortunately, there are much easier ways to make yourself seem rich on social media. Across China, there are several cafes with sets that are designed to look like the interior of expensive hotels, like the Café Pétales in Shenzhen. For the cost of a coffee, influencers go to these cafes to get pics that make them seem like they're at the Ritz-Carlton. The cafe even gives them robes to make their photos more believable. This kind of trickery isn't just reserved for faking hotel stays, though. And some influencers pretend to live in luxurious homes, too. Take this Monday morning snap by influencer Carolyn in the City, posing in the middle of a metal-framed bed with green pillows. Looks like a lovely home, but strangely, the same bed is also present in this selfie by Jules Jacobson, this picture from Christina Galbato, and this post from Tiff Benson. As I'm sure you figured out, these aren't influencers with incredibly similar tastes in interior design. In fact, these at-home selfies are really taken on a set belonging to an influencer agency called Village Marketing. They rent out Instagram-ready apartments across New York City and Los Angeles to influencers who want to pretend that they live in luxurious homes. It isn't clear how much they charge, but they rent the penthouse in New York for $15,000 a month and still make a profit from the influencers who pay them to trick their followers. So ironically, the fake rich industry has clearly become extremely profitable for them. Say hello to our brand new Scratch a Fact calendar. It isn't your average calendar. This one's packed with hundreds of fun facts. Each day, scratch off to reveal a brand new amazing fact that'll blow your mind. From wild history tidbits to quick trivia, you'll have something new to look forward to every single day. But wait, there's more. Each page is bursting with stunning hand-drawn illustrations of Bartholomew's adventures over the seasons. It's an immersive work of art. It's the perfect gift for your friends and family that everyone can enjoy each and every day. So why settle for a boring 2026 calendar when you can have the Be Amazed Scratch a Fact calendar? But for some influencers, luxury homes aren't enough. and they want to prove that they live a glamorous lifestyle by attending expensive influencer events. Of course, the most significant event in the influencer calendar is Coachella, an annual music festival held in the Colorado Desert in California. Over the years, it's become infested with influencers who show up in extravagant Coachella-ish outfits with a focus on taking selfies instead of listening to the actual music being played. I mean, why else would you show up wearing leather? You realize it's like 100 degrees in the desert, right? The tickets start at $500 and sell out in as little as 40 minutes. So not everyone can make it to the festival. But in 2023, singer and influencer Lauren Gray posted a TikTok that revealed that it's common for influencers who can't go to pretend they did on social media. Gray didn't name any names, but during Coachella 2025, one influencer admitted to the con and explained how she did it. On Instagram, Ariella Simmons posted several pictures of what looked like her at the festival with the caption, "Arichilla." How creative. She even posted videos of her driving to the festival and trying on the outfit she was going to wear. But on her TikTok, she revealed that she didn't even have tickets, and she was only driving out to the location of the festival to take pictures and make it seem like she went. She didn't even need to bother with Photoshop or fake backdrops, proving to her 300,000 followers that faking a Coachella visit is as easy as taking some snaps in the sun and posting them on the right weekend. Why couldn't someone tell me that before I bought this prop Ferris wheel? Kudos to Ariella for being honest, because some influencers don't have that integrity, and some have been caught making up outrageous lies and doubling down when they're found out. Back in 2024, the cryptocurrency influencer Nick O'Neill posted this image to X with the caption, "This is who you're trading against." Chilling on your yacht in the sunshine definitely makes for a good picture to prove your success until you zoom in and realize that the supposed crypto genius left a boat rental form on the table. The image immediately went viral as everyone clowned Nick for pretending to own the boat, so he naturally had to clear his name with a response video showing off his big, beautiful house.
Crypto Twitter seemed to be amused by my success. I worked hard to buy that yacht. I worked hard to buy this big house.
Seems pretty impressive, except for the fact that it wasn't his house at all. Once again, Nick got exposed when a user responded with their own picture of the house Nick claimed to own, saying that it was an Airbnb-style rental and they'd previously hired it out for a bachelor party. Other netizens also pointed out Nick's suitcase by the door, suggesting that he hadn't even unpacked. So Nick had lied about his wealth yet again, and I think someone needs to change their username from Choose Rich to Choose Broke. But for many influencers like Nick, the fake it till you make it attitude is the only way to achieve and afford success, even if that involves lying about leases or using fake money. See, Amanda Francis is an incredibly humble influencer who calls herself the Money Queen. Yikes. She claims to be a self-made millionaire, and she earned her fortune selling online courses to help other women also become self-made millionaires. Some consider her a legitimate life coach, while others call her a scammer. But the luxurious lifestyle she presents on social media is pretty enviable. In early 2025, she started promoting her newest course, Money Mindset Makeover. And to market it, she spent weeks posting snaps of herself surrounded by piles of cash. Naturally, this made her home a target for burglars who broke in and took off with several designer bags and some jewelry, and a whole sack of money from one of these photo shoots. And you'd think Amanda would be devastated, except the money was completely fake. The Money Queen announced this herself on social media, mocking the burglars and claiming that karma won, which is a funny way of saying that she'd lied. She claimed that this was the first time she'd used fake bills for a photo shoot, and in all her previous promotions, she'd withdrawn real cash from the bank before returning it later. Whatever you say, fake money queen. Suddenly, her entire lifestyle was called into question, as followers wondered what else was fake about the phony finance guru. After all, she'd hardly be the first influencer to exaggerate her own success. A similarly suspicious internet personality is the Australian creator Susan Mutesi, who is so famous for lying about her wealth that she's been nicknamed the fake influencer. Ouch. Susan's Instagram following has grown rapidly, gaining 1 million followers between 2020 and 2022, as well as another 75,000 right before that year's Sydney Fashion Week. This has made several people believe that she paid to have millions of bots follow her account. The theory is backed up by a quick scroll through her Instagram comments, where you'll notice a lot of them are identical. So, unless 4 people thought she had eyes like pearls at the exact same time, it's pretty likely they're all fake accounts. But for Susan, fake followers is just the tip of the inauthentic iceberg. She's also no stranger to a Photoshop flop. In September 2020, she was called out for editing herself in front of a plane, as netizens noted that the shadow and the bag didn't match the photo in the background. But Susan didn't learn her lesson, as she was caught doing the exact same thing again in 2021. In 2022, she finally uploaded an Instagram of her actually standing next to a jet. But she was busted again when her eagle-eyed followers noted that these photos had been edited too.
Gotcha.
In one picture, the hangar lights are visible in the jet's reflection, so she'd clearly edited the photo to make it look like she was out on the runway. In another of her sat inside, the hangar is visible through the windows. So while she did genuinely pose on the plane, it never got off the ground or out of the hangar. Someone please take away her Photoshop subscription. Incredibly, Susan's unashamed grifting is actually paying off. She's used her influencer status to attend various movie premieres and pose alongside celebrities on red carpets. This even led to her having a TV show greenlit in May 2025 and minor roles in some successful films and TV shows. However, while her IMDb boasts a notable appearance in Marvel's Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings, she actually appeared in the background as an uncredited extra. It isn't clear whether she added that IMDb credit herself, but it seems that her tendency for embellishment will always be there, no matter what level of success she achieves. Susan is like the fake influencer final boss, but to some, she's an inspiration, and other Instagrammers have mimicked her Photoshop antics to similar ridicule. Back in 2017, eagle-eyed fans of the travel blogger Amelia Liana noticed that some of her snaps were a little suspicious. Take this picture of her gazing out at the New York City skyline from the top of the Rockefeller Center. You may not notice anything off at first glance, except that Amelia has to be a time traveler because this 2017 snap is missing the One World Trade Center, which was built in 2014. What's more, when you zoom in, you'll see her reflection in the window shows the back of her head when it should show her face. Almost like she copy and pasted her body to make it look like a reflection. And she wasn't really at the Rockefeller Center at all. Talk about the Empire State. This isn't her only offense, and her 580,000 followers also uncovered this picture of her in front of the Taj Mahal from earlier that year. As well as the fake-looking water and her missing shadow, netizens pointed out just how incredible it was that one of the 7 wonders of the world was so empty of tourists. This implied it was another Photoshop fraud, which also explained how the towers were miraculously free of scaffolding present on the Taj Mahal throughout 2017 due to renovations. Amelia is either a shadowless, reflectionless, time-traveling vampire, or she's lying about visiting these landmarks. But someone else who definitely won't be jetting off to any far-flung places anytime soon is a certain Australian fitness influencer whose bankruptcy filing started circulating on gossip forums back in 2022. Christy Swadling is an Aussie influencer with over 100,000 followers, who posts about fitness, health, and her very expensive lifestyle. Designer bags, lavish restaurants, and cosmetic procedures all feature on her account, but it turned out that the pursuit of this perfect life was way above her means. Somehow, her followers suspected she was faking her lifestyle, so they paid a $15 fee to look up bankruptcy filings in Australia and discovered that Christy was totally broke. That level of commitment to exposing an influencer is terrifying, but Christy didn't let it impact her social media presence. In April 2023, she posted an Instagram story claiming she'd had a busy morning grocery shopping, which was strange because the paparazzi had actually caught her attending court for her bankruptcy claim. Ironically, in the pictures of her exiting court, she was seen holding a Louis Vuitton bag worth $2,000, which may have given the judge some inkling as to how she ended up there in the first place. Since the story broke, her Instagram looks almost exactly the same, but Cashless Christie's followers know she's faking it, and she noticeably hasn't taken any vacations overseas since the ruling. So it seems that the influencer life did catch up to her after all. Now, facing bankruptcy after lying on social media might seem like a real low, but Christie actually got off lucky because this kind of fake wealth flaunting can have deadly consequences. Fernando Perez Algaba was an Argentinian influencer with over 900,000 Instagram followers, who he drew in with posts about cryptocurrency and the lavish lifestyle it earned him. His social media showed him driving fast cars, traveling around the world, and wearing designer clothing. But behind the scenes, Fernando was actually in a lot of trouble. While his Instagram heavily suggested he paid for his life through crypto trading, it turned out that his riches had actually been borrowed from some pretty shady people. As well as racking up huge debts with the Argentinian tax agency, Fernando owed $40,000 to a local gang and $70,000 to another unknown man. This made him a lot of enemies, and in July 2023, he was reported as missing. 10 days later, his body turned up inside a suitcase in a river in Buenos Aires, and let's just say that it didn't turn up in one piece. On Fernando's recovered phone, the police found several threatening voice messages from men he owed money to, who they thought might have been the Chinese mafia. They also recovered a note from Fernando left for his friends saying, "If something happens to me, everyone is already warned." Fernando clearly knew he was a target, and he thought his friends would be next. But unfortunately, he isn't the only casualty of this fake rich lifestyle. On the surface, Brandon and Candace Miller looked like they had it all. Brandon was a partner in a highly successful real estate development company, and Candace ran a lifestyle blog called Mama and Tata, which provided a window into their luxurious life. But while Candace threw $100,000 parties in their mansions, got weekly $800 facials, and hung out with celebrities, Brandon was hiding serious financial problems from her while racking up more and more debt. He faced several lawsuits for forging documents, missing payments on his boat, and a $150,000 suit from a luxury furniture rental service that he hadn't paid. Furthermore, he also borrowed $17 million from friends to buy a building in Manhattan for development. Someone else bought the building first, but Brandon kept the money to pay off his other debts. And when this was revealed to his investors, they started threatening him too. The financial burden was so heavy that at the end of 2024, Brandon ended up taking his own life, leaving behind his wife, 2 daughters, and $33 million worth of debt. As of 2025, Candace has sold several of their houses, as well as most of their belongings. Yet she's only scratched the surface of Brandon's money troubles and is battling her own $190,000 lawsuit over unpaid rent in one of their homes. Okay, that got pretty serious, so let's get back to something lighter. Like an influencer exposed for living in filth. Oh, hooray. Chinese influencer Lisa Li was the epitome of class, as she posted about her travels and lifestyle to her 1 million followers on the Chinese microblogging site Weibo. However, in 2019, while the star gallivanted across the globe, she completely stopped paying the utility bills for her apartment back in Xi'an. When her landlord, Miss Chen, visited the property to see what was going on, she found that it had been completely trashed, and the floors were covered in dog poo.
Disgusting.
Miss Chen tried to contact Lisa, but she ignored her calls, racking up a debt of roughly $400 in unpaid bills. To solve the problem, Miss Chen decided to speak Lisa's social media language by live streaming the inside of the apartment on Weibo. The mess was so bad that the professional cleaners Miss Chen contacted refused to touch it. And when Lisa's viewers found the live stream, they were stunned. As the story went viral, Lisa ended up apologizing personally to Miss Chen and taking full responsibility for the mess. Since then, she live-streamed herself cleaning the apartment to make amends, but the damage to her reputation was done. Over 60,000 people unfollowed her, saying the elegant lifestyle she promoted was fake, and noting that she should have spent less money on expensive dinners and saved up for a housekeeper instead. So, while Lisa may not be poor, she definitely isn't as glamorous as her social media made her out to be. Not unless you classify Eau de Dog Poo as a luxury fragrance. Lisa Lee isn't the only influencer who's got their hands dirty, and lots of online personalities have grown their fortune and fame by digging through trash for designer bags. And I don't mean this kind of designer bag. I mean this kind. See, some influencers realize that to portray an image of wealth, you don't actually need to go on extravagant shopping sprees every week. You just need to look like you do. So, lots of influencers will rummage through the trash outside high-end stores and take photos with discarded shopping bags for their social media, making them seem like they've bought thousands of dollars worth of luxury items. Others will grab these bags and take them straight home before selling them on sites like Depop and eBay to influencers who don't want to do the dirty work themselves. Incredibly, empty bags from brands like Chanel have been sold for like $80, which is insanely expensive, but still cheaper than actually buying something from the store. Back in 2024, this influencer was caught in the embarrassing act after immediately posting with trashed Louis Vuitton bags in front of the store. Others have taken the phony flexing online by buying empty bags to carry around on the street.
Designer, what did you get?
This just the bag.
Can we check it out?
Put the bag on.
Oh,
Yeah, to make me look like I got something on Mel's
oh, okay.
Now, of course, unless you catch them red-handed, it's difficult to actually prove an influencer has done this. But next time you scroll past a picture of an influencer surrounded by fancy packages, know that there's a good chance they're completely empty. Even if you see an influencer who actually does own designer clothes and bags, there's a fair chance that they're fake too. Lots of influencers wear knockoffs to get the glamorous appearance of high-end clothing for half the price. But there can be serious repercussions if they get caught by their followers. Just look at what happened to the Korean influencer Song Jia in 2022. She initially rose to fame as the star of the Netflix dating show Singles Inferno, and immediately became a fan favorite, racking up millions of followers on social media. Fans praised her for being a golden spoon, which is the Korean name for 1%ers who are born into mega-rich families. See, South Korea's pop culture can be quite materialistic, and the country's rich and elite get a lot of respect for being born into money. So, Song Jia's fans lauded her online for her social status, and while the influencer never claimed to be a golden spoon herself, she also never denied it either. Yet in 2022, eagle-eyed fans started noticing that some of her designer stuff was looking a little suspect, and a pink Chanel top she had worn was the wrong shade. So they dug deeper and were shocked to find that a lot of luxury clothes she was photographed in appeared to be knockoffs, including the Dior bag she'd brandished in a sponsored post for a Miss Dior perfume. It was clear that she'd lied to her fans and the brands that sponsored her, and from there, the truth slowly came out. While she had grown up comfortably, the excessive wealth that she was praised for was a lie, and she wasn't a golden spoon at all. In fact, pretty much all the luxury goods and designer clothes that she had flaunted on her social media were fakes. This probably doesn't seem like a huge deal, but for her predominantly South Korean audience, it was a cardinal sin. They believed she'd lied about her entire identity, and Korean TV shows that she'd featured in started editing her out. Celebrities who'd hung out with Jia deleted their photos with her, and she was widely considered to be a national disgrace. She ended up apologizing and briefly deleting her social media accounts, but her career has never fully recovered from the scandal. As of 2024, Jia has lost contact with all of her friends, and the only person she spoke to on a day-to-day basis was her mom. It's hard not to feel bad for her, but at least her family's sticking by her. Other influencers don't have such a good relationship with their parents, and one stooped to a new low by scamming his fans and his own mother. Tyson Schultz is a crypto trader and finance influencer who constantly brags about his fancy schmancy life on Instagram. He certainly looks like the real deal, but I wouldn't recommend going to him for financial advice. Back in 2013, Tyson owned 3 Subway franchises, and his mother loaned him her life's savings so he could open a 4th. He set up shop, and the store was very successful, but he didn't pay his mom a cent of her money back until 2019, when she was forced to sue her own son for $750,000. Man, Christmas that year must have been awkward. When the family went to court, Tyson shocked everybody by claiming that despite his online image, he was actually on unemployment benefits with an income of 44 cents per fortnight, or $11 a year. This clearly didn't match up with the posts he was making on his Instagram account, where he was repeatedly bragging about a $500,000 fuel bill for a speedboat he'd recently rented on the Gold Coast. Now, it wasn't clear whether Tyson was actually wealthy but pretending to be broke to avoid paying his mother back, or if he was actually poor and working himself further into debt with all of his extravagant spending. But his mother did end up winning the case, which makes this the first time I've been glad that a mother beat her child. Unfortunately, Ty didn't learn his lesson, and in 2024 he was sued again for giving unlicensed financial advice. He had all his Australian assets seized and was ordered to pay $450,000, which completely bankrupted him. Though that hasn't stopped his jet-setting lifestyle, as in 2024 he was somehow still posting pictures of lavish vacations in Dubai, the French Alps, and Greece. Nobody knows how he's funding these trips, and whether there's another scam going on behind the scenes. But maybe I do want Tyson's financial advice, because if that's the lifestyle of a man earning 44 cents a fortnight, I'm clearly doing something wrong. Tyson may still be living the high life, but his antics did ruin his relationship with his mom. And he isn't the only influencer to destroy their family with their lies. The Ace family was a vlogging channel with 18 million subscribers, comprised of Austin and Catherine McBroom and their 3 children. Instead of wholesome family content, they were known for their extravagant lifestyle and extortionate spending. In 2019, they solidified their millionaire status with the purchase of a $10 million mansion, which was actually 2 separate mansions that they combined. Hashtag relatable, right? But in 2021, rumors started circulating online that despite this mega mansion mashup, the family's financial situation wasn't looking so ace. Leaked documents showed that the family owed $8.9 million to a debt collector, and they'd completely stopped paying their mortgage. Furthermore, it turned out that the house was never finished and didn't have any gas, so the family had been living without hot water and central heating for 2 years. Their seemingly glamorous lifestyle was largely obtained through loans that they couldn't repay, and after the family failed to sell the house at auction, the loan company repossessed it. After this, the family were forced to move out. Then when a realtor filmed a video inside the empty house, he showed how all the kitchen appliances and floors had been ripped out by the family so they could sell them to try to repay their debts. The family put the Ace into fall from grace, and this was only the beginning. In 2022, Austin was sued for $100 million for failing to pay fighters for a boxing event he'd hosted, and Catherine was sued by her own cosmetics company for a breach of contract. And if you're thinking it's couple goals that they got sued at the same time, unfortunately, in 2024, Catherine and Austin announced their divorce and ended the Ace scamily for good. They're definitely a cautionary tale against buying a house that you can't afford, but even influencers who rent their homes aren't immune to living above their means. In 2024, London landlord named Leanne was horrified to discover that the apartment she had been renting out to an influencer had actually been turned into an Airbnb right under her nose. See, at first, Ifende Uzoka seemed like the perfect tenant. She was a 4-time bodybuilding champion and a fitness influencer under the handle Misfit Queen, who also ran a clothing company with the same name. Ifende moved in October 2023, but after 9 months, she started falling behind on rent and dodging all of Leanne's calls. Leanne started doing some online sleuthing, and she made a startling discovery. While Ifende was traveling the world and posting about her lavish vacations in Dubai, she was paying for that lifestyle by renting out her house on Airbnb. The influencer was scamming Leanne and her guests by charging them more than double what she paid for the rent. She also listed the one-bedroom apartment as a 4-bed property by converting the living room into a second bedroom. By the time the story reached the news, Leanne was in the process of trying to evict the influencer, but it's unknown if she was successful. Since then, Ifende has continued posting on social media as though nothing ever happened, hiding the fact that her glamorous lifestyle was funded by a scam. Her story proves that sometimes looks can be deceiving, and something that seems glamorous online is often completely fake. The best example of this in the influencer world is arguably gold-plated cars owned by influencers like the English foreign exchange trader Laxira and the YouTuber Master OV. They're meant to be the epitome of wealth, and some of them are the real deal, like this limited edition Mercedes that's painstakingly covered in 1,000 sheets of genuine gold leaf. Buying this car would set you back over $500,000. But most influencers don't have that kind of dough, so they achieve the same effect by wrapping their cars in gold-colored plastic vinyl. This customization is much cheaper at around $3,000, but it can make a regular car seem more glamorous for social media. Although in my opinion, I think it's just looks pretty tacky, especially if you scratch your car or let it rust and your pure gold BMW starts to peel, revealing that it's actually made of cheap plastic. That thing looks like a big mobile Ferrero Rocher.
So good and tasty.
But the prices of these plastic-wrapped cars can still add up. And as we've already seen, for many influencers, just trying to appear rich can ironically put them in severe debt. In 2018, an Instagrammer called Lizette Calviero opened up about how her social media flexing put her $10,000 into debt due to her monthly $200 shopping sprees and the $1,000 she dropped on a Louis Vuitton bag. But while Lizette couldn't afford the lifestyle, other influencers have found ways to dress glamorously without spending any money at all. See, instead of renting expensive clothes, they'll buy a designer item, wear it once, then return it for a full refund. This has become so prolific that it even has a name: wardrobing. In 2023, TikTok creator Ben Blue shared his experience working at a high-end fashion store in Brisbane, Australia. He talked about a woman who would frequently come in, purchase an expensive item right before the weekend, then return it the next week. When he looked her up on Instagram, he realized that she was wearing the purchased clothes to events, posting pictures of them online, then returning them for a refund. She would even switch up the store location she visited so the staff didn't get suspicious. Ben didn't name the influencer or his store, but others have said that this is extremely common in the influencer space. And some of the world's most famous social media personalities go wardrobing all the time. Now, this isn't technically illegal, but before you run off and start doing it yourself, many retailers have started barring customers who return too many clothes. So if you get caught wardrobing, you'll never be able to shop at the Gucci store ever again. Wait, I never shopped there anyway. Get in, loser! We're going wardrobing! And why not check out all our other amazing products and bundles at the lowest price they'll ever be. But hurry, because this discount is only for a very limited time. All items are designed with love by us, and every purchase you make directly funds what we do here on this channel. So hurry, don't miss out on this saving. Scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description to purchase this bundle of joy while stock lasts. Which of these online scams surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below, and if you want to see more shady influencers getting exposed, check out my video about the craziest influencers caught lying. See you next time!